Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Regina Andrew. My name is Neil McKenzie. I'm the CMO here. And this is our third Fireside Chat session, 7 in total this week. But these are meant to be intimate gatherings, as you can see, very intimate. And we try to strive for that. Almost kind of like an MTV Unplugged situation. So this is really meant to be conversational, fun, informative, and hopefully you walk away inspired with a few nuggets to help your business and your brand or you personally. So if it's your first time to our space, welcome. There's a ton to see. I think one of the things that makes the shopping experience here at Regina Andrew a little different than most is everything you see is available through Regina Andrew to purchase or buy or spec. So as you walk through the showroom, if you want to, you can actually build like an actual quote list. So you just check into the desk. They will be happy to hand you a quote scanner. You can go around, scan everything that is interesting to you. It'll all appear in your shopping cart when you log into your account, and then you can decide what works best for you. So it's very integrated. The other thing that we have is our jewelry and pop-up station, if you will. We call it Thrill the Hunt. It's behind you in front of me. So that's all cash and carry. All the jewelry is handmade in our shop in Detroit. And again, the Regina Andrew brand, luxury lifestyle brand, decor, furniture, founded over 25 years ago by Carla Regina, James Andrew. We like to say it's really a company that was founded by creatives for creatives. So I think as you walk through what they bring to the design aesthetic of what we do, you can kind of see that through. And they are here. You might run into them. So we have a fun little cocktail hour after this. And we have some prizes and some giveaways that you can scan and register for the bar. But I'm going to hand it over to Jackie Paulson from Home Design Guild, who was so helpful in gathering us and getting this group together. So Jackie, thank you. And I'm going to hand it over to you.
I'll be super brief, but I'm a new entrepreneur. And as I wake up every morning in the fetal position, wondering how I'm going to get my business going, I thought, gosh, what a great panel that would be to listen to someone who started their business in a basement, probably had some moments, but has now grown her business into something amazing today and is just rocking it every day. So my business is Home Design Guild. And any guesses in the audience on how many interior designers there are in the United States nationwide as of 2026? Any guesses? None? Nobody can guess. You might know. You're tech people. You're close. 185,000 interior designers working in the U.S. And anybody know technology, growing industry, right? That's growing at 10% annually every year. What do you think the interior designers business is growing at every year in terms of designers coming into the industry? Any guesses? 5.9% industry growth year over year of new designers coming into the market. So how do you guys stand apart, right? That's a lot of competition. And so I launched a tool. It's called Home Design Guild. And what we are is we're the hinge for home. We match interior designers with homeowners based on, it works like a dating app. So we curate the match, and it's all based on overall compatibility with a homeowner for a designer project. So instead of a homeowner going to a platform and doom scrolling through a lot of directory of designers, we actually curate the match for our designer members. So if you're interested, scan the QR code, and there's some business cards over there. Please take some matches, and we'll get to the show here. So we got Kelli. She is with Rue Magazine, and she's going to be moderating this fantastic Fireside Chat.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for being here. This is such a good turnout. I know market is really busy, but I'm not at all surprised at how many people are here because Kathy is amazing and there's a lot of knowledge to gain today. So in case anyone just saw a crowd and stumbled in off the street and isn't aware that you're basically a design rock star, could you tell us a little bit just about your career path, both as a designer and then your e-commerce empire?
Got it. Wow, that's a big question. Hi, guys. I'm a little sick, so that's why I sound like this. First of all, it's 3:00. I hope you all have a drink in hand,
or have one with us.
Yeah, or have one with us afterwards. I started this business actually on the vendor side. So I actually worked for a vendor as a product developer. I went to school for industrial design, and so I was always designing product. I think Well, so in those days, my school that I went to didn't have the interior design program was not accredited. So my parents were like, "You're not allowed to do that." So I was like, "Okay." So then I was like, "What's the next best thing?" It's got to be something where I can design furniture or ceramics or objects. And so industrial design was kind of like where I ended up. So I started in product, and interior design actually came later. In 2008, I was laid off. And it was kind of like the best thing that happened to me because I was like, holy shit, how am I going to pay my rent? Like, what am I going to do? And at that point, I remember I was like trying to help this company that I was working for offload their excess inventory online. And so I like went to like eBay and I was like, how does this work? Like, what are these like PDPs? Like, what does it mean to like write an SEO keyword? And I swear to God, like I went to Barnes and Noble. Do you guys remember that store? Like we don't have it in New York anymore. So you remember? I bought 2 books. One was called Titanium eBay because like platinum eBay wasn't good enough. Like let me just get the titanium version. It was like this thick. And there's another book that's called How to Start an Online Business. And I swear to God, I read it. That's what I did. I read the How to Start an Online Business. And by the way, this was back in the day before there was like Shopify or Magento or anything. And so we like built a custom platform. When I say we, like it was like somebody that like I knew since, basically high school who was like kind of techie. And I was like, can you help me build a site? And this point he was like,
And was this for your business or the company that you were working
this was for my business because I had been laid off. So like I had,
Okay.
well, there's a really fine line between being an entrepreneur and just like actually being homeless. And I was basically like straddling that line.
Right.
And so, I was like telling my parents I was an entrepreneur and they were like, you are unemployed is what that is. But anyway, so I started like slowly building this platform. And I remember I was working at Bed Bath & Beyond and I was like making my like 30th bowl that looked exactly the same as the last bowl I made. And I remember getting a phone call and somebody being like, I want to buy an ottoman that's on your site. And I was like, I almost like hung up on them. I was like, I don't know you. And there's a ottoman. It's called the Ray Plains Ottoman. It's a Killam ottoman. It's a 48-inch. I'll never forget that ottoman. It's a 48-inch square ottoman. And they were like, I want to give you my credit card. Can I buy it? And I was like, no, don't do that. Because like, I don't know how to take a credit card. I don't have a payment platform. Like you do not want to give me your money because I don't know what to do with it. But that's kind of slowly how it happened. And so my first vendor was the vendor that laid me off. And they were like, of course you can take all of our crap and put it on your website and see what happens. And we're like, okay. And then the second and the third. And today we have like 687 vendors on our site. And Regina Andrew came to me like maybe, I want to say like 8 years ago. I remember sitting on a very, very, very deep Chesterfield sofa at 6:30. Everyone was drunk. And I was like, okay, everyone's drunk. Maybe they're going to say yes to me. And they actually did. And this was, Patty was here at this time. Patty's no longer here. But that's the story of how I got Regina Andrew as a line. And it's just like one after another, a lot of begging, a lot of pleading, a lot of no's. They're like, what is this e-commerce thing you're doing? We don't do that stuff. So yeah, I mean, like we could go on and on about this, but interior design kind of happened. I want to say, people would call us and they would say, well, what looks good next to the bed or in front of the bed? And I'm like, I obviously have an opinion about this. And so I would let them know and they're like, great, we'll buy that too. And I was like, really? Okay. And so that's kind of how it happened. And then trade happened. Like people were like, I'm an interior designer. Can you do special things for me? And I was like, what kind of special things? I was like, oh, I want those special things for myself too. So maybe I'll do those for myself too. So then that's how our trade program happened as well, and so on and so forth.
Well, I'm curious, obviously, your passion is very rooted in kind of the data and problem solving of it. But you are so creative and do have an incredible eye in all of this, design talent. Do you ever feel those are like two competing parts of yourself, or does it just totally go hand in hand?
You mean my left brain and my right brain?
Yes. Yeah.
So I think like having gone to school for industrial design, I think the thing that they teach you, which is kind of almost different than interior design, is they're like, what is the thing that you can design that appeals to millions of people? So it's like an Apple approach. As opposed to interior designers have like a specific aesthetic and let me put that aesthetic on you. And so I think like that kind of is a different in how we think. It's like, how do we problem solve for as many people as possible? And so when we first launched, we were like, oh my gosh, shipping is so hard. How do we fix this for ourselves? And then once we fixed it for ourselves, we're like, how do we fix this for everybody else? So then in 2022, I went and acquired a logistics company called Impact Forwarding, which has been here for 36 years. Because I'm like, if I can fix this for myself, then I can offer it to other people to fix it for them too. So it's really more like that. Like, how do I like solve my own problems and then help others along the way, because they must hate shipping things too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it was such a bold decision. People were so used to furniture is not something you would think to buy online, especially when e-commerce felt new and there wasn't as many outlets and where you already said your oh shit moment, but were there any other ones where these really big risks where you were thinking you had that kind of doubt in the back of your mind, but it ended up really paying off?
Guys, I have doubt all the time. I don't know.
What one in the last 7 days? No.
7. Okay, let me think hard. Oh shit moments. I would say like very early days of COVID, I was like, oh my gosh, because we saw like 60% of our revenue drop. By the way, we have like close to 130 people on our team today. So like having to like maintain that float and that payroll is hard, right? And so like when you have like a huge sudden drop in your business, like you've got to pivot quickly. And so like that was really hard. And so like, the decision is like, does every executive take a pay cut? Do I take a pay cut? And, like hard decisions like that. The last 3.5 years, as you guys know, maybe some of you guys are like killing it, but like in retail, it's been kind of hard, right? Like it hasn't been like the easiest path for a lot of retailers, especially in home with tariffs. It's like, God, another thing, right? And so like, we've had to like, project differently around like what like, our plan would look like. And then actually my head of finance is here. Fernando, raise your hand. How many times do we have to relook at the budget and reforecast? Yeah, week to week, because it's so weird. Like it just keeps changing. Yeah, and so it's never easy. Like you have different problems at different stages. You all know this. By the way, if you have kids here, raise your hand. Do you have kids? What year is easy? Right, because you just have different problems. It's the same thing as running a business. You just have different problems. Different times. They're all kind of amazing and they're all kind of shitty all together. Yeah.
One thing I've noticed just in knowing you over the years is you're very quick to shout out your team and mention your employees and mention how important the company is. And a lot of designers start out solo. It tends to be kind of a one man or one woman show at the very beginning. When did you were working with someone for your website, but the decision to grow your team, maybe whether it's the first hire or how do you approach that?
Well, it took a while because I was like, I can't afford to hire anyone. That was a crazy thought.
And that's the fear, right? Is that the right choice?
Obviously was to bring on my first hire. But I think like what ended up happening was like I realized I was coming into, when I say come to work, I mean I was like going to my separate bedroom. I was not going anywhere, to be clear.
We're going upstairs from the basement.
I was putting my pajamas back on.
Well,
and
there's your sleeping pajamas and then your professional pajamas.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so I was like getting on the phone and just calling UPS, calling FedEx, calling Metropolitan Home, calling every single logistics provider to be like, where's my shipment? I swear to God. So I spent most of my day actually doing that. And then I was like, this is like really, really sucking all my creativity. And I was like, maybe I should hire somebody to do that. And I posted a job posting and I was like, you can be a design specialist. And it turns out she was totally not a design specialist. She was just calling people to be like, where's my stuff? But she learned a lot about like why certain products break, why certain products don't, why certain interior designers are really upset when things are delayed, because we're in the service industry. Like I'm here to service a client and my customer service rep person is also there to service their designer who also has a client. And so we're all just kind of like transferring anxious energy onto each other. And but I think it's like once you learn that like your job is to calm the anxiety and to be a problem solver and to like work together as a team and to find a solution, like we'll always say like we will do everything we can, but I can't promise that they're going to drive any faster and get it to you. But we're going to like do everything. We're going to like annoy the crap out of them and call them every hour. But we can't like tell them to step on the gas harder. but we're going to do everything we can. So that was like my first hire. So I think for me, it's like, take a look at all your stuff and say, what is the thing that I can no longer afford? Like, well, I don't know. Do you bill your clients $250 an hour, $700 an hour? I've heard some people bill like $1,500 an hour to their clients. Like, think about your time spent calling UPS. Like, that is not worth your time. So if you're billing $1,500 or $200 an hour, like, you should not be calling UPS. You should maybe hire somebody else to do that.
I've heard this from so many designers, though, and I mean, it's your name. The company is your name. Was there struggle with loosening the reins or losing any control, or have you always approached it as the big picture?
Do I struggle with losing control? Trevor, what do you think? Trevor's my head of creative.
That is a knowing smile, Trevor.
It's a knowing smile, but I think she handles it gracefully, and I think she empowers people. And then she looks at parts of the business that can be better and focuses on that. So,
Mm. That's a good answer. Okay, thank you. I don't know. Honestly, I've spent a lot of years running the business and building systems to like scale the business. And I didn't spend a ton of time doing a bunch of design. But interior design, any design is like any discipline in design. Like, you must be also a good cook. You're probably pretty good at like other elements of design too. And so like designing a company in systems design is also design. It's kind of the same thing. So like designing an organization, designing a process, like, and designing like, I don't know, a hotel lobby is kind of the same process. Does that make sense?
All the right elements.
Yeah. Yeah, but you have to like kind of see it in your head, like how it's all going to like look together. Like, if I put this person and this person and this person, I make this system in this process, like, how is this all going to work? You're like, oh, there's going to be a gap here. There's going to be a break point here. Like, you see this as an interior designer too. So it's kind of no different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm curious though, with those gaps are there any notable failures that you're willing to share and offer? I mean, I think especially when I hear on the publishing side of we had this big initiative and it was such a flop and here's how we pivoted. Is there anything you can share that would be insightful? Another
Kaylin,
knowing smile.
Kaylin, you're laughing. What do you think I'm going to say? Oh yes. Okay. Holy moly. A lot of people here, a lot of vendors are like, doing new ERP systems, and we have like so much empathy. We spent 4 years and like, I can't even tell you how much money, trying to onboard a new commerce platform called Commerce Cloud. And 4 years later, by the way, we basically hired an entire engineering team, an entire like Salesforce like implementation team, multiple ones over 4 years. And it was a huge flop. We couldn't get it off the ground. We couldn't get it to pass quality control. Nothing worked. Didn't pass smoke tests. And I just gave up. I like basically said to the team, I was like, we're just not doing this. And I promise you, we're going to move into a big, beautiful house. We're going to have to move back to our old shitty house, and we're going to have to like replumb it. We're going to put HVAC in. We got to like fix our old house again. And we're all going to have to like just kind of grin and bear it. And I brought my first head of engineering back. I fired my entire 12-person engineering in one go. I brought my previous head of engineering back. Actually, I don't know if I fired everyone. I think I almost did. It was like a full, like that entire engineering team that was onboarding Salesforce. I was like, there's no need for this. Is that right? That was right. Okay. So that was like maybe 2 years ago. And that was hard.
It took 4 years of
onboarding. Yeah. Because we were going to onboard Commerce Cloud, Marketing Cloud, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud. We still have Service Cloud, right? We don't do Sales Cloud anymore. And it was like a whole like platform. And we just were like, and you know what? There's so many people on the team that were like, thank you. Why didn't you do this sooner? And I was like, why didn't you tell me? Like, we would have saved so much more money if you just told me that we should have just pulled the, plug. But I don't think anybody wants to be that person,
Well, there's also, I'm sure, an element with any industry of ego that goes into it, where you've invested all of this time, all of this money, and it's like, we'll get it right. But knowing when to step back and pivot is clearly crucial for your business to continue to grow.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's like, it's such a hard decision because you're like, we're almost there. but are you? We're like, I don't know if we're almost there. It felt so bad though. I know the amount of cash we were burning to get it to go live felt so bad.
In the moment, but I'm
Yeah.
hearing very clearly that it was like a collective
Yeah, I
sigh
think
of relief.
so. I think so. And to be completely honest, if you guys are not like all like on AI right now, like a crazy person, like it will change your business. Like there's no need to be on any platform. There's no need to integrate with anything anymore. Like you should be able to build almost any software, any prototype on your own. You could spin it up through Claude AI. Like do not even think for a second that you need to be paying like hundreds of thousands of dollars for software. You do not need it. I mean, it's
That was one of
insane.
my next questions is you've always kind of been very tech curious and
Yeah.
making sure that you're evolving. Were you ever apprehensive about going towards AI, or have you just been like, this is
No, I'm like the heaviest AI pusher. I'm like, I don't know. These guys are laughing. I'm like, listen, there's no need for you to be doing your job the way you have been doing, because like most of what you're doing right now should be spent like either working with a customer, talking to a vendor, or doing something creative. Like if you're not doing those things, like you're wasting time. Like your job is to connect with people. Your job is to be creative. Like your job is not to like run a P&L, no offense, but like, you know, do a financial analysis or like, I mean, you still do, you still have to, but most of it can be automated. Like there should be no reason why you're like digging for data or like looking to share data back and forth. Like information transfer, like you've got, like that can be solved through AI.
for people who are nervous or maybe completely in the dark on this and aren't going to go to Barnes and Noble and get Titanium AI.
No, do
the
not
book?
ever go to Barnes and Noble and do that.
Well, go
No.
to Barnes and Noble and buy magazines.
Yes, by Rue. Yes. Go to
But,
Barnes and Noble because it's awesome to go to a physical bookstore, but like,
But for people to like looking for that instruction or wanting to dip their toe, or maybe they've just heard, you know, AI is the worst, and so they're afraid of it. What advice do you have for people who are just starting to learn about it and wanting to incorporate it? Where would you go
yeah.
if an alien landed and was, well, they would already know what AI is.
That's pretty funny. I don't know. I don't think anybody here is like AI is the worst. Is anybody here being like AI is the worst? No. Is everybody on like at least some form of AI? Yeah. And are you generally using it for research or are you doing it for other things? Research? Everything. Good. They think that their job is going to be automated.
If anyone can't hear, concerns about privacy and AI, right? Lead us, Kathy.
Well, first of all, like you should all be on a paid plan. If you're still using a free plan, that is kind of unacceptable because it really just has like far less features. I mean, it's $20 a month, right? You'll spend that on Starbucks. So definitely get the team plan. In terms of like running your like financials and cash flow and stuff like that, like, I mean, it doesn't train on like that data doesn't leave your team plan. So it should be okay. So long. I think the piece that you do have to be careful about is like who has access to certain things like the payroll file or, you know, like we're very open in terms of our financials across the company. And I think this transparency has worked well for us. We're very, very open in terms of how much money we make and how profitable we are, all the way down to the very, very bottom. And so that is not a concern, but we don't obviously share payroll or we don't share like anything else like that. But we're not concerned about like, I guess like what is the specific concern do you have like team access issues or you should get them a work computer, yes. Because if they're gone, you need to take that computer with you. Is that helpful? Okay.
I actually think I have other questions, but I'm sure the audience, we always plan on opening up to audience Q&A. And so if anyone does have questions, we welcome them and please chime in because I obviously just want to know, like, how do you do it all? How do you look so great and well-rested and doing all this? But from a business standpoint, I'm sure there are some really valuable questions. So please feel free to chime in.
Hi, honey.
That question as well. How do you look so great?
Hi,
Yes.
Rita.
How do you look so great?
So I do want to ask you what your favorite AI platform is and what do you use different platforms with different tasks?
Yeah, I gave up on ChatGPT. And that's mainly because I build prototypes too, like in terms of like software and experiences for our company. And I also use it to like help me build charts or like PowerPoint presentations. That part of the challenge with like when you work in a big company is like you have to like share your knowledge out. And a lot of times people don't like read your emails. And so like if you send a deck, they'll look at it. And so a lot of times like what our company does is like we just like make decks to like share information faster. So I use Claude Code or Claude Cowork. So it depends on what you want it to do. Cowork is like, it's like it lives on your desktop. It can like look through all your files. It like actually does work for you. Claude Code is where I like spin up prototypes, and that's a different thing. If I'm like building software, so to speak, I use Claude Code. Does that make sense? Yeah. But I don't use I use ChatGPT like more like it's like my Google. Like I'll just be like, my kids don't like this flavored Cheez-Its. Which one should I get next? Like that's like it's like a general use one for me.
I was recently shamed. I say please and thank you when I
I do
use
too.
it.
Yeah.
So,
I do too. Yeah.
okay.
I do too.
If they take over, I'd like to be favored.
Yes. Rue, Rue Magazine and Kelly, you guys will be like the last one
They're the
standing.
polite
Yes.
ones.
You're the polite ones.
Are there any other technology initiatives that you think, or anything else that has really transformed the business or just how you're working and functioning as a business owner?
You mean today?
Yeah.
One of the things that we're trying to build right now is, and this is not my idea. I'm stealing this from Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, now Block. He builds this thing called the worldview. And the worldview is essentially one centralized platform in which every interaction with your customers, everything is basically, you can see it in real time. And so what this really is, if you think about this, is like, you are sharing a consciousness with your entire team. And that is actually the hardest thing to do when you have a big business is like, and the example is like the way in which our companies have been orged has largely not changed since the Roman army. And so the armies were created, and the armies today are still the same way, right? Like you have, cohorts of 5 that like ladder up to like, a lead, and then a cohort of 50 that ladder up to a legion, and then a cohort of like 400 that ladder up to a general, and so on and so forth. And that's how the Roman army is like actually run. And large companies, like large public companies, are run similarly and we do this because of information transfer. We have to transfer information down, and then quickly down, and then back up, across, and then back up. So it takes forever. And so things are happening. So when you say like, oh, people are working in silos, this is the reason why, is because we can't share knowledge fast enough. And so if we can get to a place in which we can essentially have a shared consciousness that is philosophical, I don't know if we can actually do that. I would like me to put my chip into your brain and your chip into mine. Those would be amazing. Imagine you and your design assistant like actually have the exact same, like you're clear exactly on where the project is at any given time. It would be an amazing thing, right? And so this is what we're trying to build, like every single sort of like customer interaction, every sales, every order, every category, every margin, we can see very clearly what is happening. And then the real magic happens, because then you live on the periphery of the worldview in which you're doing really creative things. Like that's when you're like actually like doing the decision making that actually matters, as opposed to transferring information. Do you know what I mean? They're like, no. Yeah. Yes, and that's important. Yes.
You have a question?
What are your goals? Like, what are your company goals for the next year, 3 years, 5 years?
Yeah. It's so funny. I did like this long ass meditation about this, like maybe a few years ago. And I'm like, I've been doing this for 13 years. Like, what am I doing? Like, do I want to exit? Do I want to sell? Like, what do I want to do? And I came out of this meditation, and this is going to sound really woo-woo, but basically it was like really clear to me that fundamentally what this world needs is more beauty. And I don't mean like aesthetic beauty. I mean like beauty of the heart, like beauty and harmony, and just beauty in the world that we live, like how we interact with each other is beautiful. And it was so clear to me from there on out that was like my only job is to just put out more beauty, and interactive beauty, aesthetic beauty, physical beauty, all of it. You know what I mean? And so like my team can help me do that. I don't have to do it every day, but I can ask my team to do it. And that is also one of their values. You know, there's beauty in service, there's beauty in like all the things that we do when we make people feel really, really comfortable in their home. And that's what you guys do. That's a really hard thing, right? To like make them love the space that they live in and feel really, really comfortable, because it is beautiful. And whatever that means to them, whether it's harmonious, whether it's calming, whether it's energizing, I don't care, but it's beautiful to them. Like, you're creating a sanctuary for them. And if I can help as many people do that, then I have like won, because that's the only thing that matters to me is like, can we put out more beauty in this world? Do you know what I mean?
So you're doing that from just the
I mean, we have a design team. We also have 33,000 interior designers on our platform, and I hope you guys join our trade program. And so like, if we can solve more interior design problems around logistics and infrastructure, then you can be more creative. And so that's why I bought a logistics company, but we also have a trade program with 600 and some brands that are on the site and so many others that are not on the site that we can also get for you. We will also buy restoration hardware and crate and barrel for you too, if that's something you don't want to procure. But we can procure it, receive it for you, and then deliver it for you nationwide and also internationally. I was just telling somebody yesterday that we had this like moat issue in the south of France at a castle, like legitimately. I know there was there.
So
no,
far we've
no, no,
covered the Roman army.
nobody told me there was a moat and the truck couldn't go across, and so that's that. But yeah, we like the things that like come up in your world, right, is crazy. But so if you can like spend your time being creative and like, helping your customers, that's like our only goal. But, we also love interior design too. So, we design our own as well.
Any other questions? I know that there are a lot and everyone's always a little nervous, and then you're all going to wait until she has a cocktail and then there will be a line. So if anyone has any, feel free to chime in.
What's their biggest species is say like Michelle's retailers and designers right now to like keep things moving in the current climate.
I'm so sorry. Can you say that one more time, honey?
What I can repeat, yeah. What would you advice would you give retailers to keep things moving and functioning in the current climate?
Do you have like a brick and mortar? Is that what it is? Okay. You have what, honey? And what's working right now? Like, and they help each other. We have a retail store too in Tribeca. We don't really like call it a retail store, mainly because we have no cash and carry. We used to have cash and carry in Southampton and we stopped doing that. And that's not to say that you should not have cash and carry. This is to say that cash and carry was not a good idea for us in Southampton, mainly because it was so seasonal and every customer there, and you probably would know if there's Hamptons designers here, nobody in the Hamptons shops for themselves. They only use designers. And so there was no reason for us to have a brick and mortar store that sold product, because the decorators actually did all the work. And we already knew who they were because they were coming in from New York City. It's the same decorator. And so we stopped doing that. As far as like our retail operation, actually Sam is our showroom manager in Tribeca. Go say hi. She is the most lovely human, and she actually was in Southampton with us running that showroom. I think what we've come to realize is like it's a place to actually hold events. And so we'll do book signings, we'll do collaborations. It's where people can come and like see the IRL, like KKH aesthetic, right? Like if you come in, we have like taxidermy, we have like random things that like you would never see on site. And it's kind of a place where like we instantly are like, here's champagne, like sit down and hang. And we may or may not do business then, but like you'll remember us and come back to do design services maybe. But it's kind of like we do our digital business even out of the retail store too. And so like Sam is like helping triage like, New York City customers that are coming to the digital platform, and she's following up on sample requests and things like that. So it's not like selling things out. It's not like a 4-wall profitability P&L, if that makes sense. Like we don't look at we do, listen, we look at if the store is profitable, but we don't say how much have we sold out of the store. So we don't think about it that way, if that makes sense. Is that helpful? Okay. Good luck. It's so hard.
Thank you.
Retail's so hard.
How about you keep up with the spook here? I found like they didn't get you in like various chopper.
What is your label or like leadership or like culture sa bay hama love jai?
For anyone who didn't hear, creating company culture that would inspire longevity in a team, right? Yeah.
Well, I think like first of all, they have to like buy into your crazy, right? So like these guys have all been like, all right, where do I sign? But like early on, like we wrote out our core values and core principles. And I know it sounds so cheesy to do this, but I like looked around the room and I was like, who is my top employee here? And then I was like, what do they look like? Like not like look like, but like what are the values that they have? And what are the values that I have? And then so the values are the values and the principles is how you do the values. Like it's like a verb, right? And so we wrote them out. And today it's like there's 4 values and 3 principles. And so we hire and fire based off of those. And it's very specific. Like when we go through a reviews process, there's literally, we write down the core values and core principles across the top and the employees' names across the left, and we grade them. You get a 2 if you always exemplify it. You get a 1 if you sometimes exude it, sometimes you don't. You get a 0 if you never exemplify it. And there's like a rubric. Like we look down and we're like, oh, that person scored a 14. So then they go into a review process. But then there's no question about like, if somebody's working out or not. You guys are all looking, like, you guys know it's the people analyzer process we go through. It seems crazy, but it's the best thing you can do is like hire and fire based on values. Because the truth is like here I am sitting about talking about AI, but truly the thing about AI is like, are you curious? Like if you are not curious, you are not working at Kathy Kuo Home. That's it. But I'm not sitting here being like, you're not using AI and therefore you're not working here. It's really, you're not curious. And that is one of our values. So write that down. That makes sense.
Are you willing to share some of the other values? So
Absolutely.
Being curious.
Yeah, so the first one is being a first principles design thinker. And what that means is like fundamentally breaking down a problem into like being a systems thinker. So like taking a really, really complex problem, being like, what is the actual thing that we're trying to solve for? So that's number 1. Number 2 is being humble and hungry. I started in my basement. I had 22 people out of my basement. I was begging my super to like, just like, let me have more like key fobs. He was like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, like the amount of toilet paper we would go through. I felt so bad for Calvin, who's actually still with me, who had to sit next to the girls' bathroom, who was like the only guy. He was like, oh my God, all these girls going to the bathroom. And like, so humble and hungry. Like I'm still like grateful that like, I like have a great, like, I don't know. I just like wake up every day and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. Humble and hungry. So the third one is leading with kindness and respect. I don't care if it's your customer, your shipper, your UPS delivery man, your dog walker. It's like we treat every single person with kindness and respect. You know why? Because we don't actually do anything. All we do is service our customers. We don't actually we don't make the product. We don't ship the product. Like, what are we doing? We're just here to basically like pass goodwill on. So be a good person. So that's like top 3. And principles, one is like keeping calm and grace under fire. Like that's part of like, just like the ethos of like, there's like nothing necessary, that nothing good comes out of chaos. And so we're just like, everything is just going to be, so those are a few, but I'm happy to publish them. They are published. And I talk about it a lot. Yeah. Your values and principles, you have to write them down. And and it's not enough to talk about them. You have to share the stories outwardly with your team, and you have to have your team share those values and principles across to each other. So it's not enough to talk about them. You have to evangelize them, and you have to like physically be doing them and like telling people you're doing them.
Are there any other, aside from like you're clearly in kind of a constant state of analysis of like what's working, what's not working. Was there anything else in addition to like making sure that those values were clearly documented and that you knew that was how the company was going to go moving forward? Any other tidbits or things that you did early on that really shaped the company culture or the success that you think would apply to a design business or a brick and mortar store or anything like that?
Wow. Okay. So I would say that assume that people will help you. Assume that if you ask, people will want to help you. That is the motto I go through in life. I'm like I don't ever think that oh, if I reach out to them, they're not going to take my call. Like I'm always like, maybe they'll take my call. And so I think that was I think having that mindset of being I think people want to help me. I don't know. I want to help others. And so that kind of has I mean, I used to be really super scared, coming through market and being oh my gosh, I have no idea how to ask a brand to work with me. But I've found out that like by and large, everyone kind of wants to help. And so, or like wants to share their knowledge. And so I think that like, just don't be scared to ask, you know, for like that partnership, that collaboration deal, like whatever, just ask. What are they going to say? No? Then what are you going to do? Be upset? Okay. Ask again. Ask again in another year. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do we have any other questions? Curious minds. I mean, we know that we do. Is there anything that if you could go back to that basement or that first pivot, anything that you would tell yourself when you were just getting started?
Don't work with your husband. Oh, no. Holy moly.
Someone write that one down.
Do you work with your husband? No, you don't.
No, but we are sharing an office at the moment, and my husband works in animation, so it's one half magazine, one half Shrek 5. So,
But you make it work.
Shrek is going to be green enough. No
That's
one worries.
amazing. Congratulations.
Well, it's a temporary.
Okay. No, but
Yes.
congratulations on Trek 5.
Yeah, everyone, if you could go see it, it will
Totally
in
gonna
some
go see
way
it.
help Rue, I'm sure.
Totally going to go see it. I love Shrek.
Yeah,
That's
there's
awesome.
5. Did we need 5? Yes, we did.
Absolutely. That's
But we do
awesome.
not. No, we do not work together.
Yeah. I mean, for those who do work with their husbands, like, God bless you. That is amazing. I don't know how to do that. Yeah, that's probably something I would have not tested in 2017.
And I think the other thing that I would just love to end on is, do your parents feel that your career is now accredited?
Oh my God, that is hilarious. So
Yes,
wait, so my junior year in college, they were like, so Kathy, you know, there's like dental school you can go to, or like Wellesley is still gonna take. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, it's hilarious, but yeah, they get it now. Yeah, they
Great.
got it. Yeah.
We've done it.
Yeah. Well, also like women, like we women, like we're the ones that like whenever there's like a problem in the house, they're like, they call me. They're like, Kathy will help him figure it out because we have a problem with the brother or you know, it's always like the women that like glue the family together, right? So that's the other part of it too.
Well, thank you so much for
Oh,
being
thank
so
you so much,
open and
Kelli.
honest. And
Yeah.
thanks everyone for coming. Please stay and have a drink. I will be. I hope you will be
Have a
too.
drink.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you, Kelli.